Hey YouTube, this is Sandalo Abel and I'm going to do another gun review. Today we're going to look at a very special weapon, very old weapon. It's 2014, but this weapon first saw action in World War II and it recently saw action in June of this year in the hinterlands of Bayugan City here in Mindanao, carried by yours truly. So even though it's 2014 and it's the age of the M4 Carbine and other related weapons, we're actually about to receive these new weapons. I'm still using this very old warhorse due to sentimental reasons. My grandfather, as a World War II veteran, carried one, and my father, as a veteran of the anti-insurgency campaigns during the 1970s, also carried one as a platoon leader. And now, in this day and age, in this age of YouTube and what have you, I still carry a World War II weapon, which is the, tada, the M1 Carbine, chambered in 30 caliber carbine. So safety first, let's see. As you can see here, there's nothing in the chamber. Although ammunition is kept nearby since we are at the front lines here in Veruela in Agusan del Sur. So let's see here. So this is the weapon itself. As you can see, this is not a safe queen. This is an actual weapon issued by the Philippine Army. Actually, in my infantry battalion, this is the only remaining M1 carbine left in our stocks. Most of the officers and men are issued with M16s or M14 rifles. But then, when I saw this in the battalion supply room, it was like love at first sight, and I asked the battalion supply sergeant to issue this one to me. Ammunition is a little hard to find. In addition to the ammunition that was issued to me, I actually have to buy extra from our friendly neighborhood gun stores. Arms Corps Philippines still produces the M1 carbine ammunition. Actually, I don't know. Is it carbine or carbine? I think it's a tomato thing. Please clarify that for me. So, then again, let's look at the rifle first, or carbine. So, as you can see here, from the top, there's an inscription here. It's stamped Inland Manufacturing Division, General Motors, and then at the bottom is the numbers 12-43, which I think, please correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, is the production date. So judging from 12-43, I guess this weapon was assembled in December of 1943. So that makes this weapon around 70 years old. It's going to turn 71 December of this year, and it's still working pretty well. When I examined this weapon, the bore was kinda dark and the rifling was already pretty shallow, but then when I had this weapon zeroed, it still groups pretty tightly. Not too bad for a 70-year-old weapon. So, other features of this weapon, as you can see here, it's sort of spray painted black and is chipping in a lot of places. I don't know who did it. The previous person who was issued this weapon probably did it. He's not into aesthetics actually. I think I too need to retouch on the paint to give it a more even look, I guess. As you can see here, going back to the weapon, it has the bayonet lug, which I don't have the bayonet for, but then this isn't World War I anyway. Who needs a bayonet, right? Um, The sling I got off the internet. It's a replica M1 Carbine sling. I also ordered the butt cuff magazine holders. It's a replica. I didn't have it attached since I don't know, it didn't fit pretty well here on the stock. I think I need to buy the original ones, but you know, it's a little bit expensive and it's out of my budget. As you can see, it has the oiler tube and the sling, and an interesting thing here at the end. This is what I use as a bore swab in the field. It's just a shoelace. I just tied it up here in the end for convenience's sake. So there you go. Also the bolt. As you can see here, it's the round type bolt instead of the earlier production flat style bolt. The charging handle, it locks back. If you press the little button here, it protrudes onto a cutout here on the receiver. The sights are of the later type, which is graduated from 100 yards to 300 yards. When I saw action last June, I think the enemy was around a little over 100 meters away. The sights work pretty well. As you can see from the safety here, it is of the switch type or the later production style safety. I've seen other M1 carbines with push button safety, which I guess confused soldiers in the field, since the magazine release button, which has an M label, is located really close to the safety. So I guess this is a pretty convenient update. So as you can see here, it has the label US Carbine Caliber 30 M1. If you can hold on to this weapon in particular, it is pretty rough. I mean, I too am kinda guilty for banging it up in the woods. I don't know if this comes standard, but here, on the slot here, the serial number of the weapon is engraved. I think that was put there by a unit armor. Not entirely sure, but it wasn't put there by our battalion. I already got this with the serial number burned here and the serial number stamped here. They match. So other details of this weapon, I have 15 round magazines. I carry around 9 of these. The ammunition I use for it is a mix of 1978 dated Republic of the Philippines Arsenal marked ammunition, and also newly produced Arms Corps ammunition. The difference between those two rounds is the RTA marked ammunition, the government ammo, has like a sealant of sorts. It's a red colored dye of some sort on the primer, but the Arms Corps produced ammunition don't have that. I don't see it as a very big problem since, you know, ammunition that I carry in the bush gets pretty wet. As long as you dry it out, still works fine. And also I have one of these. It's a pretty beat up example of a 30 rounder ammo magazine, which I only load up to 28, since if I load it up to 30, the magazine spring kinda sticks at the bottom, which sort of makes the weapon jam, something you wouldn't want in the field. Other details of this weapon, I'm not sure if you can see that there is a slot cut here on the side, which could fit the M2 fully automatic conversion of this weapon. It's actually funny because militiamen, the CAFGU militia, most of them carry M2 carbines, as opposed to me, a regular army officer, I carry the M1. So the benefits of this weapon, especially to me, I'm a very, very short kid. I'm around 5 foot 1 inch short or tall, whatever. This weapon is very handy for me. I used to go on combat operations equipped with the standard M16A1 rifle, and I tell you, every damn time I go into the bush, that snags on everything and I get mud on it. Compared to this rifle, which is very, very short and very, very handy, um, I carry it just fine in the field. It's very light, so I get tired less. In combat, I managed to get off a few rounds at the enemy. This still works, and low noise and low recoil, and it's still a pretty good weapon. Can you imagine? I still use a 70-year-old rifle in counterinsurgency. So until we get the M4, this is what I'll use. Can you imagine? It's like carrying your grandpa to battle. So that's for an overview of the M1 Carbine issued by the Philippine Army to me. Um, Hope to hear some comments, and if you know a lot more about this weapon, please feel free to share. Again, this is Sindala Abel saying have a nice day.